back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler headed with you on this Wednesday morning. I talked about the NFL in the last segment there, and them adding the new kickoff rule for 2024, which I'm excited about. I think it's really cool. Now there are a couple other rule changes that they're making. The hip drop tackle, that kind of thing, which I'm not a big fan of because that you're putting more power in the hands of the officials when it comes to calling those things, and I think they're just going to end up getting it wrong, and we're going to have some egregious calls that end up affecting games, as we always do anytime there's a new kind of defensive penalty that gets put on the docket. But one thing that kind of got lost in the shuffle yesterday that I want to talk about is the NFL laying claim to yet another holiday for the foreseeable future, as yesterday it was announced that this year on Christmas, which falls on a Wednesday, will feature 2 NFL games on it. Now, this is not the first time the NFL's played on Christmas. They've kind of had a recent run of it as of late. Now, the past couple of years, Christmas has fallen on a weekend or close to a weekend where it's made sense for the NFL to put games on there. Now, historically, if Christmas falls on a Sunday, the NFL will play games on there. If the NFL, or if the Christmas falls on a Monday, play games there like they had this past year as well. But back in 2020, they experimented with Friday. The NFL, it was the Saints and maybe the Saints and the Rams, if I remember correctly, that played on Christmas on a Friday that year. Then you had a Saturday Christmas with games, Sunday Christmas with the games, and then this past year, a Monday Christmas with games. But when you get in the middle of the week, the Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the two days that the NFL does not normally operate, I said a while back, I think it was about this time last year, that I thought the NFL was going to make playing on Christmas a point of emphasis every single year, no matter what day Christmas fell on, and boom, Christmas is on a Wednesday this year, thanks to the leap year where we skip over Tuesday. And guess what? More NFL games coming to Christmas this upcoming year. So, you ask the question, well, why would they do that? Well, the answer lies very simply, as no surprise, I guess, in money and ratings. And in fact, the NFL's executive vice president of media distribution, Hans Schroeder, was asked about why this decision was made to continue to play games on Christmas Day, despite the fact it's falling in the middle of the week when the NFL does not normally play games. They said, when we saw the viewership from this past year, really our fans spoke. We certainly saw and believed that they were very much enjoying and watching NFL on Christmas, which of course everybody was. The Rams 49ers game on Christmas pulled in 27.2 million viewers, making it the second most watched Monday Night Football game since 1996. And when you have, I don't want to say a captive audience, but you have a large selection of people that are at home or in somebody's home, looking for something to watch, then guess what? When football's on, we're going to watch that. And I watched all the NFL Christmas Day games, or at least as many as I could these past couple of years, because, hey, it's football. And, of course, we're all going to watch as much football as we can. But the NFL, for the longest time, when Christmas would fall on any day other than like a Saturday or Sunday, they steered away from it, and they kind of let the NBA have Christmas Day, because that's what the NBA has always kind of sold earlier on in the season is, right, NBA Christmas Day, it's this big deal, because let's face it, the first half of the NBA regular season, not all that important, especially when you let half your teams into the into the playoffs. So when they look at Christmas Day, that's a really big starting point or a jumping off point for the NBA in a lot of ways. And a lot of times that there's people that are tuning into their first NBA games of the season on Christmas Day because it becomes so much of a tradition. Well, the NBA, once again this past year, played on Christmas Day, including some big matchups like the Lakers and the Celtics, which was the top highest drawing matchup of the NBA afternoon that day. They pulled in 5 million viewers. The NFL had almost 6 times as many viewers as the NBA on Christmas Day. Again, the sport that's had its marquee as a Christmas Day sport for the longest time. The NFL just said, yeah, we can do better than that. And so they swooped in and basically took it over. And it seems like they're going to take it over for years to come. Now, that doesn't mean the NBA is going to stop playing games on Christmas Day. They're just going to lose a lot more of that casual audience that might just be looking for sports to watch on a Christmas Day where there are otherwise no other sports, saying, you know what, I'll check out some NBA games, or maybe this is my point where I start watching the NBA. Now the football is starting to wrap up a little bit. But I think that's kind of gone out the window. And the NFL has no problem playing on Wednesday. They have no problem playing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. In a couple years, there'll be a Tuesday, Christmas Day, and I'm sure they'll be playing on that as well. So it's once again the NFL being the machine that it is. And when you have a machine like that, there is no signs of slowing it down. And again, the NFL prints money. Even when they run into their share of controversies they have over the years, guess what? Those ratings haven't gone down. The revenue, the ads, all that kind of stuff just continue to rise and rise and rise. And that is why at the end of the day, they have no problem playing football on Christmas Day. But the dynamic between the NFL and the NBA got me thinking a little bit, because there are holidays that are tied to college football that the NFL has historically left alone and decided, nope, that's college football's time. We're not going to mess with that. But how long does that go on? I think about this from the perspective of like New Year's Day. When it falls on any other day than Sunday, the NFL gets out of the way. Now, when it falls on Sunday, that moves all the bowl games January 2nd, because, again, Sunday belongs to the NFL. But outside of that, NFL kind of draws their own line in the sand a little bit and says, you know what? January 1st, that's college football's day, playing big bowl games, the whole 9 yards, you can have it. And hasn't caused an issue. But especially in this age of TV deals with leagues and conferences getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, those TV networks are going to want to return on that investment. And knowing the cash cow that the NFL is, and being that ESPN holds exclusive rights to college football, what's stopping Fox and CBS and NBC from saying, hey, we know they're playing football over there on that network. What if you came and played on ours on New Year's Day? And again, much like the NBA thing, there's a lot of casual viewers that don't really care a whole lot about college football or enough to invest into it. They're going to watch the New Year's Day games because that's tradition, and really that's one of the few sports that's actually on that day. But if you give them the NFL and college football, guess what? A lot of them are probably going to go to the NFL. Now, we diehards here in the Southeast, we're going to watch college football regardless, and maybe have a phone or a tablet or a laptop with the NFL game on, but your primary focus is going to be on college football. But see, the league and these networks know that no matter what day they put it on, people are going to watch in the tune of 25 to 30 million people. And why stop at New Year's Day? Labor Day. Labor Day weekend has turned into the start of college football proper, where you have games running from Thursday all the way to Monday night, where we get, some kickoff classic game between, whoever in Virginia Tech out at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or, we had the Clemson-Duke game this past year on that Monday night. Like, it's just become a full weekend of college football. But I imagine after just going to 17 games a couple years ago, on the horizon, and this has been rumored already, the NFL is looking for even more games in the regular season, going up to 18. Well, if that happens, you can either add more time to the end of the schedule or move more time to the beginning of the schedule. And I imagine moving more time to the beginning of the schedule would be a more likely option, which means maybe starting the season a week early, which if that happens, guess what? College football is now taking a backseat to the NFL on Labor Day weekend, a weekend that has belonged to them for so long. And again, you would say, well, no. Well, the NFL has always steered clear of the college football and not tried to step on their toes. Yeah, up to this point, but they have no reason to continue to fall into that trend if they know that they can make money and generate a lot of viewership by playing on those same days. The NFL does not care what college football does. Again, they've been nice to them for a long time and thrown them a bone in a lot of ways, but it comes to a point where, again, when we're seeing this with the NBA, or with going head-to-head with the NBA on Christmas Day, the NFL knows they're going to win. Now, yes, a lot more people watch the college football bowl games than an NFL Christmas Day game, but if you're splitting hairs between the NFL and college football, NFL's probably still going to win those ratings battles, if we're being honest here. And they know that, which is why this is entirely possible for them to attempt to pull off if they too decide to do that. Now, again, that would potentially come with expanding the NFL calendar, but if they can go to 17, I don't see why 18 and maybe even an extra bye week wouldn't be in the near future of NFL football. But if they do indeed come and try and take over college football's time slot, college football can't really do anything about it. Maybe there's some pushback from ESPN given the relationship with both, but as it stands right now, I think the NFL would probably dominate college football in the ratings, or I don't want to say probably, they would dominate college football in the ratings if they were going head to head on some of those certain days that we've come to expect to revolve around college football. So we'll see what ultimately ends up happening there. I want to remind you, the craft beer card is back. You can spend $30 at a brewery at 12 craft beer locations, $360 value, all yours for only $79. Go to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to purchase the craft beer